Well, hello, everyone. I am so pleased to be able to visit on this session with Rhonda L. Watson. Rhonda is a friend, a leader in the anti-hunger community, and the executive director of an incredibly important group based in Washington, D.C., USA, called Roots for Life. Welcome, Rhonda. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to briefly introduce Rhonda to the viewership here. Um, she says that inspired by her volunteer work at the beginning of her career, Rhonda quickly developed a deep passion for charitable work. Years before that, she found her calling as a culinary enthusiast. And so, with the marriage of her two loves, community work on the one hand and cooking on the other, Rhonda co-founded Roots for Life in 2017. And by the way, we'll post the website for Roots for Life in the cover note for this video recording. Rhonda is an accomplished senior leadership professional with 25 years of experience with demonstrated strengths that include assessing organizational needs, setting strategic direction, and implementing initiatives that enhance organizational performance. In fact, in other words, she does everything that an organization needs to have done. She also brings skills in program evaluation, relationship and partnership building. I can attest to the fact that she's a wonderful partner, and event planning skills. She's also served as an adjunct professor at the University of the District of Columbia in Washington, D.C., USA, where she taught introduction to nonprofit organizations and staff and volunteer management. She's a native of Chicago in Illinois. She received a bachelor's from Eastern Illinois University and a master's from DePaul University. And to make sure that her career really moved forward, she relocated to Washington, D.C. in 2001 and made the state of Maryland, her home. In 2020, she completed a women's leadership program through Yale University's School of Management Executive Education. Again, Rhonda, it's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
We're just so anxious to hear your insights and good ideas on such a variety of fronts. So we've got you for a few minutes. I thought what we might do is start by having you tell us just a little bit more about Roots for Life, kind of what you had in mind in forming it, what its goals are, and what excites you about the work that Roots for Life is doing.
Okay, so Roots for Life, we started in 2017. We focused on food insecurity, and our mission is to really teach those individuals and families how to cook, live, and grow healthy. We have signature programs, which is Crops in the Kitchen, our instructional cooking classes. We also do cooking demonstrations, and then we have Soil to Soul, which includes like our gardening program, healthy living, and right now we have active programs in all three areas that we're offering free around in the community.
And that's soul or soil, like dirt, soil
Like there.
and soul. That's a wonderful title for the program. And as I recall, your program primarily focuses in certain sections or what are called wards of Washington, D.C. Is that correct?
So when we first started, we focused on wards 4, 5, 7, and 8. And what we have learned is that, food insecure individuals can live anywhere in the district. And so our goal is just to reach anyone that's food insecure. But our programs have educational components to it. And even if you're not food insecure, the information would still be helpful.
Wonderful. So this is a community-based organization, and it does involve some community garden growing, as I understand it. Is that correct? So during this time of the year, we're recording this during the summer here in eastern part of the U.S. Folks in the community are actively involved in growing some of the food. Is that right?
Yes, so we have partnered with East Capital Urban Farm, and they've been helping us to do some of our gardening programs. In fact, we had one last weekend where we were doing a little bit of seedling for winter vegetables. So we were planting parsnips and turnips and types of lettuces that will definitely grow well and do well in the winter.
And the food that you raise then in the garden is given back to the community members who help raise it and other members in the community who are hungry or food insecure as they
Yes.
need it. Okay, that's great.
Yes, and at the farm, they're all after the classes, they're able to harvest the food that's already there, and you can pick eggplant, squash, peppers, tomatoes. Last weekend they also had squash blossoms. So there's a variety of different types of food that you can actually harvest. And this garden is meant for the community to come and to enjoy it. Classes are free, like I said, and they're about an hour and a half long afterwards. They can get the shears and like just do some cutting and take fresh produce away with them.
Well, we'll probably have people viewing this from literally all over the world. So we'll be sure and post the link to Roots for Life that has information on all your programs there. Because my guess is that there are probably other communities around the world, certainly within the US, that might be interested in learning about how you did what you did, what you're doing, the challenges you had, and also the opportunities and exciting things you've done with your program. In other words, learn from you, and then who knows, you might be able to learn from other partners from around the world too. Let's dive in just a little bit deeper. Here about, I think it was about a year ago now. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if I remember how we met, but we met online. We've never met in person, but you expressed an interest. I'll put it this way. You were brave enough to reach out and ask about the possibility of working with some poets. Can you tell us kind of where that idea or interest came from, and then what was it that you did with the poets?
I reached out and wanted to work with you because poetry and using the arts is just another way of storytelling. And when you're trying to tell a story from different perspectives or to have a call to action and to really to get to the truths of some social issues that we're having, poetry is a great way to do it. And you're specifically on hunger. And this really speaks to our audience because it shows them in many different ways that hunger can be viewed by people in different ways, the way that they share the story, how they use their words. It could be from experiences that they've had personally, or it could be from something that they have witnessed and they know this is a social issue and this is an issue for everyone. So in DC, we have 1 in 3 individuals that are food insecure. That number is the same across the United States, not 1 in 3, but every area has different numbers of food insecurity. So this is something that everybody either lives near, they know about, but hunger is a worldwide problem. And I think when you hear about it through different poets, you're able to feel the empathy and you can start to see like this is a problem that should be solved. Food should be accessible to anyone. And I think the way that the poets bring it together is really like eye-opening because, like I said, it's a form of storytelling and everybody has a unique way in which they do it. And I really like to share the pieces so that they're reading something enjoyable, but it also is calling attention to something that's a problem.
Yes, your point is really, really well taken. I think I believe the power of poetry is in large measure because of its storytelling capacity, in terms and literally in words that are often striking, beautiful, or very powerful, and or both beautiful and powerful. And we partnered with you then as you wanted to explore the option or opportunity of looking about having some poets from, as I recall, that we had poets from certainly around the US, and I don't remember if we had some from overseas, but we got online and those poets presented some of the work that they have posted or published on Poetry X Hunger. And alongside that reading, we had a donation button that you had created, and we urged any and all who attended the reading, and even if they couldn't attend, they could still donate, and many did, to Roots for Life for a specific amount. I mean, we had a goal in mind, and then you wanted to use it for specific things that you needed in the organization. Tell us how it went.
Actually, the virtual fundraiser was one of our most successful fundraisers that we've had. And we haven't had many, but it was definitely the most successful. What we did was raise money for a community refrigerator. And so now we're just looking for a partner to house that refrigerator. But we had poets from, and I think it was just in the United States, if I remember
Yeah, yeah,
correctly, that they were reading their poems. We also had a video of a poet delivering
yes.
his work. And that event was well attended and raised lots of money. And so now we do have the funds that are set aside for a community refrigerator, which will definitely make an impact in the communities that we serve.
Great. And we recorded the session so that we could play it back, or anyone could play it back if they wanted to revisit the good work that the poets and Roots for Life are doing. One thing we haven't had a chance to do, and this might be something that we could talk about, is to actually involve some of the community members who you work with and work with them to see, stoke their creative juices a little bit and see if they could maybe write some poems. We kind of what I'll call imported poets to this particular cause, and that I thought that worked really well. But it might also be kind of cool and powerful to have some poets from the local community that you're working with, some of your partners, to see if we could get them to write a poem or two. Well, as we come to a close here, is there anything that we haven't talked about, Rhonda, in this very short visit that you'd really like to share with the listenership before we go?
Yes, I think I'd like to add just to reemphasize what I said that our programs are for the food insecure, but the information that we have is for anyone. And I think our nutrition classes are beneficial if you are interested in learning how to garden. And our classes are teaching individuals how to garden in any space. So that if you have a patio, a balcony, or you actually have the space in your backyard to grow a garden, you can come and learn at the farm. We also have nutrition classes that are for anyone. They're just not based on if you're food insecure. The information is for any individual that is interested in learning to cook, live, and grow healthy. So
Are
please
these
join us at our programs. I'm sorry.
and are these in-person classes now?
These are all in person.
Okay,
Yes.
so especially for those who are viewing this video from the greater Washington, D.C. area, please tune in. But anyone might want to take a look at your the kind of classes you offer, just as a prompt for maybe somebody in outside of Boston or near Atlanta would be interested in using some of the same sort of lesson plans that you've developed as well. Well, Rhonda, I really thank you for spending this good time with me. You and your crown. I love the headpiece behind.
Thank you.
Thanks for spending the time with us, and keep up the wonderful work that you're doing at Roots for Life. You had the vision to form it now, gosh, almost what, 6, 7 years ago, and it sounds like it was formed just in the nick of time when food security and hunger were on the rise with COVID. I know you've been very responsive. I'm sure the communities really value the work that you're doing. And I especially value your partnership in terms of the outreach that you made to involve poets. So hopefully we'll be able to continue the good work. But in the meantime, you just keep going, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.